We're live.
We good?
Yep.
Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of HMF Live and a crossover edition.
With the bottom line. How's it going, everybody? You know me. I'm Gary. I'm from the bottom line. This is my lovely wife, Tenny, if you guys haven't met her or seen her online before. So today we decided to do a crossover. I don't know which one of these to look at. So I'm just going to...
It's going to kind of go back and forth.
Yeah. So we decided to do a crossover episode. Not nearly as exciting as The Flash and the Arrow or some sort of superhero, but, you know, we are... At least I'm wearing something superhero. So... I mean, she might not be, but that's fine.
So anyways, for those of you who don't know, that are following me on Hustle to Muscle Fitness, this is Gary, also my husband. He does a weekly show called The Bottom Line. And so if you follow him, or if you eventually follow him, I'm just going to let you know right now, his is a lot more explosive,
Yeah.
kind of on the angrier side. And so this is going to be maybe an unusual show for him on his broadcast, and it might be an unusual show for me if he tends to do what he normally does.
Right.
So, but hopefully it's not too angry of an episode.
No.
So, all right. So today, as you've probably seen, is our 12th year wedding anniversary. And so just to kind of give you a little bit of background, we've been together for 13 and a half years. And we are 6 years apart. And actually, right now, this is the 2 days of the year where we're actually 7 years apart, because
Right.
he just turned 41, and I will turn 35 tomorrow. So
I turned 41 yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, so we just thought we would take this opportunity, since we both do these weekly Facebook Live shows, to talk about, I'm going to kind of go back and forth here, about marriage and relationships in general. And we are... Sometimes I think in a lot of ways we're very the same, and then sometimes in other ways we are as opposite as you can get.
Yes. Yeah. Just like our shows, her show is about, health, fitness, and wellness. Mine's about being really pissed off of a lot of crap that's been going on, here in the States and so on, and try to find some sort of balance of, maybe we could talk through it, or we could, basically I talk through it. I just yell and scream for 25 minutes sometimes, and that's just what ends up happening. Her show is more the calm, hold your hand, in my words, coddle. It's it's just a different, it's a different approach, but opposites, yes, complete opposites. When we first met, I was a lead singer of a metal band, doing a lot of stupid shit. She was this good little girl, just moved over from Granger over to Bellingham, and she...
I wouldn't say just.
Well, yeah, not just, but I mean, she moved over here, good little Pentecostal girl, and then she meets me, and then, the corruption begins. But yeah, I mean, we're opposites, but I think a lot of the times that's what keeps us together, I guess. I think that's one of the ways that it keeps us together. What do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, the other thing that we both have in common is that we're both very honest, open, and direct people. So our approaches are different. He's going to yell and scream at you, and while I am going to be honest and direct with you, it's going to be in a much calmer way. And I think that's what he was trying to say. Any of you that know me know that I don't necessarily coddle you, especially if you are on my team. Or one of my coaching clients. I don't coddle.
Okay, I'll take back coddle.
I will be very direct with you.
I'll take back coddle.
But it's that commonality, but our differences in approach and opinions and all that kind of stuff that I think so many people tend to find so entertaining. Lot. So.
Yeah, opposite, but I mean, like on other scales, we're completely different, and actually we're different roles. Where in a lot of more traditional roles in marriage, the man is the breadwinner, and the guy does the work. The woman, I mean, I guess now it's not the same kind of dynamic. Both people have to work, but I'm just saying. Well, I just hear like a high pitched squeal sound for some reason. Somebody just blew a dog whistle. I can hear it. Anyways, I don't remember where I was.
I don't know where you were going.
Where was I at?
You threw me off with the dog whistle.
Right. I heard a high-pitched squeal, and it really got into my ear.
And this happens a lot, too.
Yeah.
So we do know what we want to talk about, but we tend to go off.
Holy crap.
Too, so.
That was... Yeah, I cannot believe my brain is just completely lost what was being said.
Okay, well,
But yeah, we'll move on.
yeah. So we wanted to talk about marriage and relationships today, and we're going to be very open and honest about some of the history of our marriage, some of the ups and downs. I mean, anybody that's been married, obviously there's people out there that have been married longer than us, so they have even more tales to tell,
Right.
And probably even more advice to give, and so we take heed to those. But we also have been through, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there, in certain unique ways, we have been through a lot more shit than maybe a traditional marriage where, like, two healthy people are
Right.
involved, and that's not to say anything about Gary, but
To live with somebody who lives in chronic pain is a much bigger and more
And we've shared
challenging experience than
Right.
just somebody who's not living in chronic pain.
And we've shared that on both of our different pages, that
right.
I'm the caregiver for him, especially when he goes
That's what it was.
goes down.
That's where I was. Traditional ways, the guy goes out.
Oh,
and
yeah. Did you want to finish that thought?
Well, no, I was just going to say, in this particular situation, we can just continue with the same line of talking, or same line of information that we were just giving. It is that, like in the traditional ways, like I say, men go out, they do the thing, they bring home the money, and then oh wow. That sucks that you were widowed at 19. Sorry about that.
That is
This is my second marriage as well too. I've been married twice, and my first wife didn't die, which is tragic. It's tragic that he died, not that she didn't die.
Wow, that came out really bad.
He did. That is, when it came out, that's not what I meant. It's just tragic that what had happened to you, and I'm sorry, Megan, that happened to you. Period.
No, you're fine.
Then,
we like the interaction.
Yeah. So, oh no, yeah, it's fine. But
roles.
The roles, yeah. I mean, she's the major breadwinner. She's the one that she has the job. She has the stuff. She's been bringing home. She's the one that takes care of. She takes care of financially. She takes care of me. And it's not the other way around. I take care of the house, but again, that's living with somebody who lives with chronic pain. Yeah, I may have a degree, but I can't do really much with it because, am I going to be able to find a job sustainable over here or sustainable here or there that I could actually do or use my degree and not have to take 4 or 5 days off at a time, to heal up because for whatever reason. Believe me, living with somebody with chronic pain, I would almost say is slightly, if not a little bit harder than the person who's actually living with the pain. Because eventually, 24/7 of living with the pain, you get it. But hearing 24/7 of the pain, eventually, I mean, you're not. There's no eventually you get it. It's that constant broken record, and I could just imagine what that's all about. But anyways, so I mean that's one thing dealing with that.
Too.
Yeah, I mean that segues into so living with somebody who lives in chronic pain, you're living with somebody who requires a lot of medical attention and uses a lot of pharmaceuticals to stay out of pain.
Well, let's just say this. We've been together now 12, 13 years, and in that time have gone through, 5 surgeries?
Yeah, I've had back surgery again, shoulder surgery, 2 hernias, and then the lithotripsy, and then all the kidney stone crap.
Kidney stones for almost a year.
Yeah, I'm still dealing with that too. As a matter of fact, one's still rolling around right now as we speak. So waiting for that to come out. But yeah, medical stuff has gotten in the way. She said something earlier. This is the way my show goes, okay? Because I'm ADHD or whatever. I don't care what you want to diagnose it, but my brain jumps around. So the people who are watching my show, you guys know that you guys may be able to even follow me. But that's the one thing we were talking about earlier that people talk about. Well, just giving up, or just stopping, or whatever it is. And, if the relationship is toxic, then yes, that makes sense. And there has been multiple times, and I will not lie, there's been multiple times on both of our ends where do we really keep doing this? Do we continue doing this? Do we stick this out? Is it going to get any better? I mean, is it going to get worse? Cohabitating with another human being is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, is because, especially when you're both independent, strong-willed people, and you stay those strong-willed people. throughout the marriage. There's that compromise. But if anybody's seen one of Tenny and I's arguments, it's a battle. It's a battle of wits. It's a battle of intelligence. It's a battle of education. It just absolutely turns into that, because now we start dropping back into our knowledge that neither one of us can actually refute. You know, like, it's a matter of who can take whatever that is, make it whatever it is to make them win.
I'm shaking my tripod here.
Sorry. So, you know, the people out there that, you know, that say, well, we're just going to give it up. We're just going to be done with it. Well, then fine. You know what? Then fine. Then do that. But guess what? If you stick with it and you stay out, I mean, you know, I couldn't imagine my life without her. I just couldn't. And not in any one particular way. There's really no way to describe it. You know, it's one of those things where either you do it or you don't. And constantly saying, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave, which I've done a bazillion times, it just absolutely taints the marriage. It absolutely makes the marriage harder on the other person. And it just, you know,
there was a lot of scars, because he used to do that a lot in the first beginning, maybe even the first
imagine that
three quarters of our marriage. Even it's only been the last, like, well, first of all, it's probably only been the last few years that I started to kind of ignore it when he would do it. And so I finally, he would threaten it, and I would just go, okay, then leave, whatever. I can't cry anymore about it. And if that's what you want to do, then I will, like I always do, I will figure shit out. And so, but, you know, we finally came to a conclusion, like, when we were trying to, there was we'll go into that in a minute, but there was a really low point in our marriage around 2009. So it was, what, 5 years in? 6 years in?
Well, it was even later. No.
Well, when it all started, it lasted a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a really low point in our marriage where I know I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep going. And
through all the surgeries,
Stop. Hold on. Let me finish my thought. During that low point, there was times where I know I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I don't know if he had the same thoughts. But after we got kind of out of that, we were in a better place. I finally just said, hey, look, we both need to stop throwing around the word divorce. Like, we need to stop threatening each other with that, because, you know, I know I didn't. I don't think he did either, because this is marriage number 2. We didn't get into this to just, like, let's see how this goes. And,
right.
You know, we'll see how long we shack up. But
marriage wasn't a gamble. Marriage is, you know,
right.
a commitment.
So I finally just said, hey, if we're really going to, you know, we're sticking it out. We know what our boundary lines are for what is an absolute deal breaker. You know, then we got to stop throwing around divorce like it's no big deal, right. You know, especially the further in that you go. So, and that's only been in the last year that we finally kind of just, I guess, shook on it and said, okay, we can't threaten that anymore.
Right.
Okay, now you go.
I don't remember what I was going to say.
Oh.
Yeah. It don't matter.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about...
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Because, well, we'll talk about the low point.
Yeah.
The low point is that through all the surgeries and everything, you know, lots and lots of pain pills, lots and lots and lots of pain medications. I mean, it was a constant flow of, you know, narcotic pain medication. And it got to the point where she had just started her job. We just moved in here, like, not just started. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that too.
Actually, you know what? I want to comment on that really quick. Did you know in Ireland, if you want to get a divorce, like, you have to go through like 2 years of counseling, you know, are you sure? And all that. They don't just issue divorces. You have to go through a 2-year process to get a divorce. And during that 2 years, you have to live together. I don't know if maybe not Ireland, but it's one of those, you know, one of those more progressive countries than ours anyways, I think. But anyways, I just wanted to answer that real quick. They do make it way too easy to get a divorce. My divorce cost $125 and probably about 4 hours worth of my time. You know, it's about what it did. All I did was just go in and say, you know, hey, do you want to be with her? No. Do you want to be with him? No. Are you guys ever going to? No. Okay, click, done. You know, I mean, it's that easy. You know, and then, you know, and I've done that. And it was, you know, it was a devastating part of my life. But anyways, what I was to say is, like, but with that, yeah, it does. It makes it way too easy to just get a divorce. You can just go sign a couple pieces of paper and you're done. Unless you live in California. And then you live in California, then you're screwed. But, yeah, it took a week in Reno. Yeah, right. It just, you know, you're right. So to get back to to
The low point.
the low point, I was taking a lot of narcotic pain medication. I couldn't even describe to you the amounts that I was taking. Somebody who was taking that much should be dead. That's just all there is to it.
I was worried I was going to come. I was a few years into my job at that point. I was a couple years in. But I had just started grad school. I was about a year into grad school.
Yeah. What I had done is I had tried to, I had tried to control eating the pills as much as I could. See, I still even use that terminology. But I mean, like taking the medications and stuff like that, I'd have her hide them, have her take them away from the house so I didn't have access to them. So what that created is me not being able to have access to my pills, and where are they? So I would start ripping the house apart. And I'm not kidding.
I'd come home and there'd be furniture everywhere.
I'm not kidding.
The cushions would be out.
I'd pull paneling off the walls thinking that she could have gotten them in there. Yeah, paneling. It was a vicious, vicious monster. And to top it all off with the sugar and the sprinkles is I would call her on the phone, and no matter what she was doing or no matter what she was at, I was flipping. Okay, HMF crew, this is where the bottom line people understand. So if you are offended by bad language,
I've sworn, so you guys should be used to it.
I would. So, but anyways, I just warning you guys. You guys know. But anyways, it was. I'd call her up and be, where are my fucking pills, you fucking bitch, at the top of my lungs, screaming. You're fucking keeping them from me. I know you are. Where the fuck are they? I mean, just losing my shit. Going ape shit. It got so bad that she goes to the doctor for a checkup, and the doctor's all like, I need to put you on blood pressure medication. Well, why? Because you're going to have a fucking stroke. Well, why are you going to have a stroke? Well, I don't know. That's what she gave. She started giving those abusive wife answers. And I tell you what right now, gentlemen, there is nothing out there that will wake you up faster than hearing your wife say any of those phrases that cover up your bullshit. All right? That should be enough right there to wake you up. When you hear that, it is an awful sound. It is if it doesn't break your heart when you hear that sound, I'll pay for your divorce. $125 in Washington State. I'll do that, because you don't need to be married. Because when you hear your wife give an excuse for why you're a huge douchebag dick fuckhead meat sack, it breaks your heart, man. It's just like, okay, something's wrong, well, and we got to figure out a way around it.
I think for him, though, it broke his heart after he got clear-headed.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit when we were going through it.
Let's just put it this way. I would get 240 10-325 Vicodin, which is the strongest Vicodin at the time. I would get 240 of those. Okay. Then I would get 90 40 milligram OxyContins. Okay, you guys out there know the difference between OxyContins and oxycodone. OxyContin is synthetic heroin. At the time, they changed the formula now to where you can't smash them up, you can't do anything with them. They've made them time release and they can't be changed. Well, when I was getting them, they could be chewed up and they'd work faster. I never snorted them, but that's not like saying, well,
gold star.
Not calling you not by any.
No, he totally was.
No, I didn't read hers before.
She said, I can so relate to this, was in a relationship with an addict for 7 years.
Roxanne, I was an addict. I'm still an addict.
You kind of really are for life once you are.
Yeah, and I don't mean that, like I'm still doing it, like to that 240 pill problem and 90 OxyContins. And I don't know if you guys know about the fentanyl patch, but the fentanyl patch, I get the 100 microgram fentanyl patch. And I don't know if you guys know, but it's a transdermal. That's the fentanyl. That's the drug that they put you to sleep with when you go to anesthesia. That's the white shit.
Think of like the nicotine patch.
It's like a nicotine patch, but it's made out of pain medication. Very powerful pain medication. Some people will take them and chew them up. Some people will snort them. They will smoke them. I would take them, put them on, and then put a heating pad on them, because transdermally that would make it absorb faster. It would actually push the fentanyl into my body. So, with all of that combined, I would get that on Monday. By Friday, I would be out of everything. On Friday, I would be chewing my last pills in the morning on the phone with my doctor, telling him I need a new script because I am out. That doctor would write me a new script, and I'd go get another one. He would change it.
So for those of you...
I'm not saying any names. I'm not saying any names because, I don't want any kind of legal shit. Right. But I'm just letting you know that it was. This guy was not my friend. He was not somebody who was looking out for my health. And he's supposed to be my doctor. And he knew that he was giving me over 1,000 pills a month. And he still kept doing it.
So for those of you in HMF world... Now you probably see where a lot of my passion comes from, why I constantly am preaching about how food is your health. You can heal your body in many, many ways and prevent a lot of illnesses with proper nutrition, proper hydration, proper sleep. Because if you let the medical world, like Western medicine get out of hand, this is the kind of shit that happens. And yes, it costs money, but it's cost him so much
No,
more.
I'm talking like that's what the pharmaceutical company is all about.
But it's cost him so much more in his health.
Absolutely. I'm dealing with it every day. I'll tell you what, right? I used to do motivational speaking for Sunnyside High School. And I tell the kids would ask me when I would tell them the story, why'd you do drugs and why'd you do that? Because they make you feel good. They don't make them to make you feel bad. They make them to make you feel good. So the more good they make you feel, the more you want it. The more you want it, the more you take, the more you take, the more you take, the more you take. But that was just, an example of what a low point was. It had gotten out of hand. And yes, I did at a point stopped. And shouldn't have stopped the way I did. But that was the only way I was going to get away from them, was just to be done. I took 100 and something pills and poured them out. And listen, just really quick before I say this, I'm not at all, I don't want anybody commenting or saying, good for you, thumbs up, love that comment, whatever. I'm not saying this for a pat on the back. I'm saying this because this is how I did it. And if you're out there with the same problem, this may be your only way. So I'm not saying this to my bottom liners out there that, good for you, Gary. That's not it. But what I did was I took all the pills and I dumped them. And I sat down in the middle of the floor and just realized, okay, let's do this. We're going to start withdrawing real quick. And sure enough, it took about 6 hours. I was laying on the floor, convulsing, puking, seizing. Took me to the hospital. Had to give me 6 shots of Dilaudid just to level me out so I could talk to the doctor. He put me. I told him everything. I told him, I said, I'm not doing this, and I don't want any more pills. He said there was just no way that there's just no way that you can just drop them like this. So you're gonna have to step down. And so ultimately I did. I stepped down, I got them all throughout, but I was dope sick for 3 months. I don't know if you guys know what dope sick is, but dope sick is basically everything you put in your body turns into liquid. Everything you put in your body.
All right, I think we're getting to the point here.
But I was dope sick for 3 months. Still, she stood beside me and she still did it. I mean, like I'm telling you now, I don't understand she did it. And yes, I'm surprised my liver still functions too after years of drinking, being an alcoholic. Have you guys noticed a pattern there, bottom liners, that maybe I got like kind of one of those addictive personalities? Maybe that's what it is. But anyways, the low point, we got through it. And marriages are. I don't like it when people say, "Oh, well, if marriage you shouldn't have to work at your marriage." You're a liar.
Bullshit.
You're a liar. You're a liar. If there's no conflict in your marriage, then your marriage has got about another 6 months before somebody snaps and we hear about you on the evening news because, they found a shallow grave. I'm serious, because the conflict is healthy. It's how you deal and how you treat the conflict, which we have a lot of conflict. We do. We actually do. We're both really strong-willed people.
Very passionate about whatever our opinion is.
I want what I want. She wants what she wants, and hardly ever is that ever something we both want.
That's where that polar opposites comes in.
But somehow by the end of the day, I don't know.
So,
not only that. Well, no. If at the end of the day the argument didn't finish, then we'll just finish it when we wake up. I don't like when people say, "Oh, don't go to bed mad." Oh no, you can go to bed mad. Just when you wake up, just remember to finish, and you will. You'll remember to finish. Believe me, it'll just start right back up where it left off. And that's okay. And that's fine. Just come to some sort of resolution. That's what happens. But
I will say, like, okay,
steal some of your water.
That's fine. Coming out of the whole pill thing, like, things, as he started getting better and getting off the pills and stuff, and he started finally going back to work and things like that. What ended up happening, though, is we ended up having completely opposite schedules.
Right.
And so what sort of happened was, as he was dealing with the pill issue, wasn't totally away yet, kind of really screwed us over financially. And so I was hurt and angry and upset for a lot of different reasons. That was kind of the cherry on the cake. You know, we were having trouble at that point paying rent, even though I was working 40 plus hours a week. And so what ended up happening was that I had a friend, a guy friend, and I'm not going to name names again for, you know, protecting
obvious reasons.
Yeah. But what ended up happening is, like, we never crossed that line, but we got close. Like, we got too close. And that person was coming out of a divorce, a marriage that kind of ended.
It was like literally the perfect storm.
His wife cheated on him, and so he was kind of in that vulnerable position. My husband hadn't cheated on me, but he had done a whole lot of crap to me, and
the pill thing, and
yeah,
you know.
It was just the perfect thing to kind of, like, we had a lot in common for our, like, we kind of swap stories back and
real
forth
quick,
and stuff.
You know, I mean, just for an example, I mean, this other guy, right? I mean, his wife, his fitness wife had just left him. She was a bodybuilder. She was actually a professionto bodybuilder.
Him and Gary are the same age.
We're the same age. Same
taste in music.
You know, everything. She wasn't looking to step out. She was looking for me, and that's what happened. And, you know, that, if that makes any sense, you know, she was looking.
I was looking for him, and I kind of found him in another person.
In a doppelganger. She found a doppelganger to, you know, kind of replace what she was missing.
But he had all of the things that Gary, you know, like, there wasn't all the same problems.
And there was commonalities that they had that were just, her and I just don't have, you know, so like that.
Yeah. But I will say I never crossed the line. The one thing that we haven't said from our beginning of our marriage, two things. We will still be individuals. We are Tanya and Gary, but we are Tanya and Gary.
And sometimes Tengar.
Yeah. And then the other thing was that if either one of us ever had the inclination to step out on the marriage, then we needed to call it quits before that happened. Right. And so had that gotten to the case, I would have done that, but I really didn't want it. You know, I was still wanting this. Yeah. I couldn't tell you why either, because it was shitty at that time, but...
the other thing, too, this one's going to be for the guys, again, out there in bottom liner land, is hey, look, when I started to notice what was going on and started to realize it from my previous marriage, and started to realize kind of what was going on, I did approach it very, very maturely. At the very beginning, it was approached very calmly, and I will tell you right now, me explaining it calmly and rationally, and not just blowing my brain, you know, just all over, not suicide, but I mean, how do I say this? I'm not trying to say it like this. I'm not
blowing up,
just blowing up, you know, and just what I was trying to get at is just kind of like just blowing up at you and all over the situation, you know, was that I approached it maturely and said, look, these are the signs I'm seeing. We need to talk about this before anything does start to get any further, you know, because it's going to start. I can see it. It's already going to happen. I will contribute that, being mature about that, as saving our marriage. Because, guys, I'm a guy. I fucking know. I know exactly how it is, you know? Another guy starts, you know, treading on your water or something like that, or whatever you want to put it. Yeah, you know, whatever it is.
That was
personally,
me up my chest.
Right. Personally, I like to say, you know, somebody just messing with my, you know, my wife, because that's who she is my wife. But, you're going to puff up a little bit, and you're going to get that, you know, like...
He had that moment.
You know, yeah.
He confronted him.
Right. You know, I had that puff up moment. It was different than most puff up moments because, like, again, I was calm about it. Oh, I screamed and yelled, but I mean, I didn't threaten any bodily harm or anything like that. All I can say is, guys out there, you know, the way you approach it is how it's going to end. If you approach it with animosity, it's going to end with animosity. If you approach it with understanding, it will end with understanding. And reason why I'm picking on the guys is because women, you guys, you're emotional based. You understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm not telling you anything new. But guys that are out there, this may be something that your wives have been trying to tell you for the last 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, or whatever. And you're not listening. And half of us don't hear it until somebody else says it. And then we go home and say, oh, hey, we did this. And then the wife goes, fuck what? I told you this shit like 6 weeks ago. And, you know, whatever. So this is going to be one of those moments where I tell you, another person's telling you, man, if you don't calm down and approach things maturely, you're going to lose every single time. every single time.
Yeah. Now, and ladies, I will say too that I mean, this really goes to either side of the relationship. If somebody is being hard-headed, because I know that I certainly have my moments, but if there is an issue where you are feeling neglected or need to have the attention. I mean, we you know, whether he likes to admit it or not, we all need human relationships.
You too, guys.
And especially when we are with someone, we need to communicate to them when we are feeling neglected or we would like some attention. Well, two things. I did not do a very good job of that because I'll be honest, unlike most women, I'm not always great at sharing my emotions. I'm very good at blocking that, shutting it down because I need to get business done. But two, he wasn't really in the place to hear me yet either. He's very action-based, so when he saw the actions that I was taking, you know, kind of not on purpose, but when he saw that, that's when he responded. If I would have told him maybe at that point, it may not have really sunk in. So, right. But it's still, at least if you make the attempt to say, hey, this is what's going on, then you can at least say, hey, I've tried to communicate this to you. Mm-hmm. So, but I just, I think without dwelling too much on the continuous negative,
right?
We've had a lot of really good times, even with all the crap we've gone through, surgeries and all that kind of stuff. We've had a lot of really great things, and
absolutely,
you know, I think that
we've been to Comic-Cons together. You know, I've helped her with her cosplay. I mean, we do have quite a bit in common, without having a lot in common.
Yeah. But I mean, really, it's you know, I think that a lot of you recognize that when you watch our videos. People have told us many times that we are very entertaining, and I think because we know how we are well enough, and we feed off of each other, and so I don't know. I think that you know, a lot of people. This is the part I really wanted to get into too. Is that a lot of couples, and someone mentioned it earlier. A lot of couples, whether you're married or not, you've been together a long time, you call it quits at the first sign of trouble.
Right.
Oh my God, our marriage wouldn't have lasted past 5 years if we would have done that.
No.
And maybe even the first year, because the day after the wedding, we were in debt and already kind of fucked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I kind of want to call out bullshit to the people that are like, oh, well, you know, here's one. If he or she is working a lot, now I know there has to be a balance where you spend some time with family, but at the same time, if you are taking care of your family and someone is constantly like, you know, buy me this and do this, or I don't get this, or I don't get that, or whatever. We went through that a little bit. Like, all you do is work.
We still do that.
You know, there still has to be that, like...
Talk about the buying stuff.
Yeah. There still has to be that, like, okay, that's not divorce worthy.
Right.
You know, if you're dating, you're not really together, or, I mean, like, not really married, I should say, then that's different. You want to break up. If you have kids involved, though, you better think fucking twice. Now, I'm not saying stay together because you have kids, but don't bail on the first sign of trouble, especially if you have kids. You guys need to figure out how to work together and be that example.
And I know that some people are going to say, well, where do you guys get off? You know, you have no experience because you don't have children and stuff like that. Well, first of all, I happen to be a child of divorce. So I know what it feels like on that side. I was once that kid, you know, and I was raised by my mom, you know, and you guys know that was just a wonderful shitstorm. But, you know, it just, where do we get off saying, you know, like, oh, well, this and this and this. Hey, look, when you have other lives involved, the only one thing you cannot do to everybody who's watching or anybody who watches this, you don't use your kids as weapons. That is the dumbest, most asshole thing I have ever completely seen. Why in the world would you take these innocent children, put them in the middle of your argument with some asshole that you can't live with anymore, so you decide to start using your kids as weapons? So now when your kids grow up, oh, okay, so they're going to be really great people or great people that I want in my society. They're the ones that I want are politicians. I want those kids out there, the ones that are all screwed up in their heads, the ones out there trying to get, you know, guns or whatever it is. I don't need them. I don't want them. I don't want them in my society. And I know for damn sure that nobody out there wants them in your society either.
If you can't be with someone, and it happens.
It's okay.
You absolutely can't.
It's okay.
But you can still work together, have a positive parenting relationship.
Absolutely.
And still show your kids that, hey, you know what? We just aren't great together, but we both love you, and we both still want you to be happy and what's best for you. And that's it.
Yeah, that's how we get screwed up adults.
And I grew up, I was raised by my grandparents. You know, I had both parental figures, you know, so we have the opposite experience. Like, and that's probably why most of the time I end up being more level-headed than he is. But, but anyway, no, we don't have kids, but we also know how we each are. And we also know what we do and don't want for our lives, what we do and don't like. And that's why we don't have kids. Not because we can't have kids, so we don't need your pity. It's because we chose not to have kids. And if you look, honestly, I mean, and I hate to say this, but if you look at the condition that Gary is in with his health.
Yeah, I don't want any of this to be hereditary.
Well, that, and I know I could not handle bringing up kids and taking care of Gary. I just can't. Sometimes the dogs are too much. But, I mean, so... There's more to us just passing judgment on parents than us just not having kids and thinking we're high and mighty. That's not it at all.
I happen to know a situation that's going on right now and stuff like that. And I know that I said, hey, don't use your kids against each other, against parents. I also know some grandparents right now that are going through hell, you know. Their grandparents and the grandparents are getting screwed out of seeing their own grandchildren, and because the parents are fighting, you know, how disgusting. Stop that. I mean, it is just that easy. Okay. Because this isn't one of those things where it's an addiction or you have some sort of problem. Maybe you have some sort of mental problem. And that's why you're screwing out grandparents and parents and fathers and mothers out there from not seeing your kids. Maybe that's what's wrong with you. But I tell you what, right now, if it doesn't stop, we're going to continue to have the same society we're living in right now. This is that product. This is now the product of 40 years of easy divorce. All right? That's what this creates. It creates an individualistic society, and it's systemic from parents. They're not taking care of their children. They're still selfish on themselves, and they're taking care of themselves, and they ignore their children. Now, I'm not talking about the people out there, you know, that are taking care of their children and doing the right thing. Good. That's okay. Right now, what I'm saying is that these people out there that are nutballs shit crazy, yeah, those are the people that are, that's the result of what's going on with this easy divorce situation. With this easy, you know, this $3 divorce. You know
what, though? It's too easy to get married, too.
And it is.
That's the other thing. That's why, like, you look at these celebrity marriages that last 54 hours.
Well, I don't understand why marriage is such a huge problem. Some people want this for marriage. It's not equal. It's not this. It's not that. It's not, you know, okay, it's marriage.
Don't get too far off.
It's I do. I promise everything that I just said to you. I promise that I will do that for the rest of my life, and vice versa. That is what you do. Okay? Humans were not designed to do this. So we're fighting against 4 million years, well, about 3.7 million years of evolution.
Yeah, actually, I know.
about evolution. We're taking it and making it a social issue. We're breaking that. We're not supposed to be married. We're not supposed to cohabitate. That's just not how it's supposed to be. You know? It just doesn't, it's not what evolution, again, you guys know, it's not, that's my opinion, but it's not what evolution had in mind. And so, anyways, all right, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching so far.
We're not leaving.
We're not leaving anyways, yeah. Somebody else
anyway.
is. We just want to say bye to them.
But anyway, I want to put the challenge out there. The other thing I will say, too, about marriage is don't get married just because you got pregnant, just because you have a kid. If you're not ready for it, fine. Just work together on how to raise that child. You don't have to get married because you had a kid. That just blows my mind. You're bringing up a good point about the whole situation of the fact that society spends so much time about teaching what marriage is about. And people want to get married, and then they have kids or whatever. They get married because of this, or they get married because of that. But on the other hand, they're fighting for the sanctity of marriage out of the next breath. Yeah. That makes no sense to me. Like you were just saying, that absolutely makes no sense. Out of one breath, they're saying, you know, marriage is the sanctity of marriage, and it's all this and it's all that. And then right next to it, they're saying, well, I've got 4 divorces, or I've got 3 divorces, or, you know, I'm cheating on my spouse, or whatever. That just,
What?
We're just saying, put some value behind your relationship.
Right.
Build up the value behind your relationship first before. You don't even have to get married
Yes!
to show that you have value in your relationship.
You don't have to have that piece of paper. All that piece of paper does is help you a little bit at tax time. That's all it really does. And even now that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But still, I get why there's the fight. I do understand why there's the fight for equality, but I don't think marriage should be the foundation of that equality, because I can tell you right now, marriage, it's hard. Oh, it's hard. And then marriage, it's wonderful. It's absolutely the most brilliant thing we ever came up with at the exact same time. I mean, it really is. You go from, like a fight to then, like just the next day, like something, changes, or there's a look, or there's a brushing of, whatever it is, or something like that, and it all goes away and you realize it. I mean,
he's not graded.
Yeah, I'm not good at the whole, if you ask me questions, I'm going to pause for a second. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, no, and that's another thing. Anybody in the relationship hits anybody, you're done. That's over. You know what? There is no, he'll never do this again. Yeah, he's going to do it again. And there's no, she's not going to do it again. Oh, she's going to do it again. And
and Gary talked about how that kind of line of abuse kind of started towards the end or during his pain pill problem or whatever. That was another line I had to draw after we got through that.
Mental and verbal abuse.
Yeah, well, and if he gets to that point again, I can't go through it again.
It scared me so bad that in August, when I had the first bout of kidney stones that I went through, my body becomes, if they give me heavy narcotics, a lot of them, like in the hospital, my body can very easily like start to crave it again. And it kind of throws me back. Well, I had even gotten upset because that's what happened. It wasn't my fault. That was not my intention. But I didn't want to explain it to her, and I was afraid to explain it to her because I was afraid she was going to leave me. I'm serious. That's how. If you guys even had just like a snippet of what I put her through when I was going through that narcotic pain medication problem, you wouldn't even want to talk to me now. I mean, it was intense. I said some stupid shit. But anyways. So you can go through hard times or whatever, but yes, if it's abusive, then you're out. One swing and you're done. Because once you've passed that, once you've crossed that line, you'll cross it again and again and again and again and again. So
okay, the last, I guess maybe the last parting piece of advice I want to give to all couples, but especially to parents, is, you have kids, and that's great, and you devote your time on them, and that's awesome. But don't forget that you still have this relationship as your foundation, whether you're married or not. So every once in a while, you need to take some time without your fucking kids to spend on each other, to focus on one another, have a conversation that doesn't include fucking Barney or what. I don't even know. We're so out of it. I don't know what kids are watching.
You know what the 3 most important things to a good marriage? This goes with what she just said. I tell everybody this. There's 3 top things. Communication, communication, and communication.
But you need that your partner needs to know. Oh, my battery's dying. Your partner needs to know that you are still in it with them. You guys are raising these kids together. You're going through this life together, this journey together. So don't forget each other. Yeah. I've seen so many couples who raise their kids and they all leave the nest and they got empty nests and stuff, and then they don't even know how to talk to each other anymore. And one's in one room and one's in another room.
Ashley, sex.
and then they don't even know how they are.
That makes more
together.
Kids.
So that's my one tip for anybody, parent or not. You don't forget to actually devote some time. And I'll be honest, I'm a workaholic, and it's hard for me to unplug. But every once in a while, I will. I have no, I'll unplug from work.
Especially in this day and age. Especially in this day and age, look up. Stop.
Like the cruise that we went
I know
on.
we're sitting here, we're promoting it by doing this show on social media, but there has to be a point where you say to yourself that I am not going to be,
be present.
Yeah, I'm going to be here right now. You guys
guilty of
you
it
guys
too.
know I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ, and I see people out there, and I see tables of people, and they're all together, and not one of them's having a conversation with the other. They're all on their phones, texting with people that are somewhere else. Be with the people you're with. Remember to ground yourself. Ground. I just need to ground myself and be present. I need to be right here, right now, and that's where I'm going to be. Yeah. It happened to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was standing up on stage, and for some reason, when I was standing there, I was standing behind the desk, and it just felt like this is where I'm supposed to be, right here, right now.
You know, a few months ago, we went on a cruise, and we had, like, no internet, no cell phone service, nothing. And it was one of the best, I mean, aside from the kidney stone he had on the cruise, it was one of the best trips, experiences we've had. Because we were unplugged and completely present, and it was awesome. It was great for us to be able to even reconnect. And we don't have kids, and we still have to work on reconnecting. Right. So, your last piece of advice, and then we're already at 45 minutes, so let's wrap this up.
Well, my last piece of advice is, argue. Do it. Argue. I mean, that's just all there is to it. You guys argue right up into the point to where somebody says something purposefully hurtful.
Yeah, no words or weapons.
That's when you stop, because the argument is no longer constructive. It is now deconstructive. So this is my psychologist. This is my psychologist coming out of me. But argue. Argue, find the resolution, whatever it is that you need to take, whatever road that takes you get there. But the second one of you fires like an unwarranted shot, it's stop. Like I said, the conversation goes from constructive to deconstructive. So just remember that. Just walk away for a minute. There has been times where 5 minutes away, 2 minutes away, just a breather away for that second. Because you know what? If my God, say one more fucking word, I'm going to pick up that fork, I'm going to stab you in the goddamn eye with it. That's exactly what's going to fucking happen. Right now, I just say it. Say one more. That's when you've got to put up that and say, you know what? Let's come back. Let's come back, because now this is no longer a constructive conversation. Now it's just going to be it's just a shitstorm. And that solves nothing. And if the argument takes 4 days, it takes 4 days. That's what you're going to do. Yeah. But finish it. Do it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's wrap this up. We appreciate
Thanks for watching for 45 minutes.
Yeah, hanging out and chatting it up. Mostly on Gary's. I know that
our first crossover.
I usually get the followers or the chatting after the video post. So, I will take these glasses off and whoop his ass.
Right. Right.
So we appreciate everybody. So if you want that in-your-face kind of approach to social commentary, follow Gary and check out his bottom line on, is it Sundays now?
Yeah.
Sundays in
5-ish.
Evening time. And if you want more on health and fitness and how to live a more balanced life, check me out on HMF Live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And maybe we'll do another crossover episode down the road if you guys have topics that you would like us to address.
Right.
And so we're gonna go because it's our anniversary.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go and celebrate that in a at-home dealing with kidney stone kind of way. So
right. Gary time. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching, and remember, as always, bottom liners. First of all, remember to respect one another and remember to be good humans.
And
we'll see you later.
Have a happy, healthy day. See you later.